and it's June the 26th, 2022. My name is Jonathan Jones. It's my privilege to be your host and moderator for the afternoon. Jeff Ashby is my co-host, and Afrida Strong often joins us as co-host as well, so she may be joining us pretty soon too. So we have several folks that are here. We're looking forward to having a discussion with Dr. Kedar Prasad this afternoon. You know that we've interviewed Dr. Prasad a number of times, and I think if we interview Dr. Prasad every weekend for the next 10 years, we will not be able to peel out of him everything that we can, everything that he knows, and all the many gems that he can provide us with. So we're doing it a little bit at a time. And today, the topic that we're going to be considering is the third in 3 parts of a series we've been doing this month about the impact of micronutrients on COVID brain. COVID brain, brain fog, however you want to say it. They've actually coined the expression now, COVID brain, and scientists are talking about it very much the way that they talk about chemo brain. But just to present our disclaimer, we really need to help you to understand something, because by law, we're not allowed to say that any nutritional supplement has any effect on any disease. So that's not what we're trying to suggest. We're not trying to suggest that products that we'll be talking about today, such as Micro Daily, Brain Boost, Collagen Daily, or anything else, we're not trying to suggest that they're a treatment or cure for any disease. This discussion is for information, educational purposes only. It is not intended to be taken as a substitute for a visit to your primary healthcare physician. We strongly suggest that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. Later in our discussion, if there is an opportunity to ask a couple of questions of Dr. Prasad, we would kindly ask that you confine your questions to the subject matter and avoid asking personal recommendations from Dr. Prasad. Dr. Prasad is a scientist, he's not a medical doctor. So we strongly, again, recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. Speak to your primary healthcare physician. Now, having said that, we'll repeat it later on today, but having said that, let's get to our discussion. To lay the foundation for the discussion, I've got a 5-minute video that Jeff and I believe encapsulates the essence of the problem related to COVID brain and the problem that many are facing right now. Now, I want to show you one thing before Jeff starts that presentation, that part of it. I want to show you just one quick thing, because a picture, in my mind, a picture paints 1,000 words. And when you see a picture that describes something, it kind of puts it in my mind into perspective. Now, you can do the research on this yourself. Go to VAERS. You can look up and quantify the amount of impact that people are having on COVID from COVID-19. But the CDC has already narrowed it down and indicated that 30% of all COVID patients are reporting some kind of neurological problems. 30%. And the problem is not with long haulers only. It's not only with people who have had severe cases of COVID. It's not only people who have been intubated. Even mild cases of COVID have led to some sort of a neurological problem. So that's why we want to have this discussion today and see
micro, M is capital and D capital.
That could potentially be a positive benefit to us in making our immune system work properly. So go ahead, Jeff, please cue the video.
Inflammation in the brain can cause dysregulation of a number of different cell types and have lasting consequences to cognitive function. Understanding that, when the pandemic struck and we saw how profoundly immunogenic, how profoundly inflammatory, even relatively mild cases of COVID could be, I really worried about a neurological health crisis. And I think we're watching that unfold right now. The rates of persistent cognitive symptoms in people who have recovered from COVID is frankly alarming. We need to understand how to intervene and offer effective therapy, or there are going to be just millions of people suffering with these persistent cognitive symptoms. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not a virologist. I'm a neurologist, but I am alarmed by the neurological possible consequences of this pandemic and alarmed by the neurological disease that's already evident in many, many, many survivors of COVID. Even from early in the pandemic, it was very clear to neurologists that COVID infection results in a remarkably high rate of persistent neurological symptoms, including quite a high rate of persistent cognitive symptoms that includes things like difficulty paying attention, difficulty with the speed of information processing, difficulty with concentration and memory. And that is something that we should all be paying a lot of attention to. That is really, really concerning. It's debilitating. People are just not returning to their previous level of function. And that's a major problem with 265 million people worldwide infected with COVID, and some estimates of as many as 1 in 4 people, at least prior to the time of vaccination, experiencing these cognitive symptoms. This is a neurological health crisis. I'm a neuro-oncologist, and one of my clinical specialties is to take care of people following cancer therapy who have persistent brain fog, cognitive impairment as a result of their cancer and its therapy. And this so-called chemo brain or chemo fog is very similar to what people are describing after COVID. And so this so-called COVID fog shares almost the identical symptoms. And what we're finding in the laboratory is that the two types of brain fog also share a lot of the very same cellular changes that we think are underpinning this sort of fogginess. We know that with severe COVID infection that many things can go wrong, that severe disease is associated with blood clots that can cause stroke, with even direct infection of the brain, and with the consequences of multi-organ disease and damage. But even after mild COVID, people were reporting persistent cognitive trouble. And I wondered whether the inflammatory response just to the respiratory infection might be enough to trigger neuroinflammation, inflammation in the brain, and consequently dysregulate these cells that are so important to keep in balance for healthy cognitive function. What we discovered in the laboratory in mice that have relatively mild respiratory COVID, and then in human samples, COVID elicits such a profound inflammatory response in the brain. And as a result of that, brain cells that need to work together in order to communicate and function normally were dysregulated. In severe cases of COVID, there can be direct infection of the brain, but in many cases, there's no evidence of virus in the brain. What's happening to affect the brain instead is a consequence of the immune response to the virus. And what we studied was how the immune response to infection that was limited to the respiratory system could cause inflammation in the brain through signaling molecules that go from the lung through the blood and to the brain. We found pretty high levels of inflammatory molecules called cytokines and chemokines in the central nervous system just from mild respiratory infection. And together with that, we saw inflammation in a particular kind of brain immune cell, which is called a microglia. When microglia and astrocytes become reactive, they then can cause dysregulation of another kind of glial cell that form the insulation around axons, quite literally like the insulation on a wire. When that happens, the neurons, the communicating cells in the brain, can't communicate with each other in their normal way. not as quickly and not as well. And so that can cause dysregulation of the whole circuit and cause cognitive impairment. This pathophysiology is particularly prominent in COVID.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jeff, for showing that. And we didn't want to get bogged down too much into the science, but we thought that would give a nice little overview that there are literal physical things taking place in the brain that is very specific and connected to the immune system, and the way the immune system responds is causing some measurable problems in the brain. So with that, we'd like to introduce our very special guest to you today. Now, many of you have already met Dr. Prasad, or at the very least heard one of his presentations, or been present at one of our interviews of Dr. Prasad. But this man has done a tremendous amount of work with regard to the brain. Dr. Prasad, let's look at his background first of all. So professor at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, 30 plus years in research in vitamin and cancer research, former president of the International Society of Cancer and Nutrition, member of the British Society of Medicine, invited member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominated committee. So he's got a good, strong background there. His accolades: the world's first radiation biology PhD, awarded 7 US patents for MicroNutrients. And really the list just kind of goes on and on. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but look down at the bottom. You see where it says there that he's the author, a co-author of 29 books, published more than 250 times in peer-reviewed periodicals. Well, I wanted to show you just a brief snapshot of some of the books that he's written, because it kind of tells the story for us. It's actually in this publication here, so I can just page right to it. I was going to show you another little screenshot of it. But take a look here on the left side of this page here. Now, all of the books are important. They're all very relevant, but toward the bottom, you see that there, Dr. Prasad wrote one book on fighting Parkinson's and Huntington's with vitamins and antioxidants. Also on Alzheimer's, and also on concussive brain injury, PTSD. So he's given a lot of attention to the brain. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to ask Dr. Prasad if his research can have any positive effect on what we're seeing. Is there an application to this? So it is my privilege to welcome and invite to our discussion Dr. Kedar Prasad. Dr. Prasad, we are so happy to have you join us and to welcome you to our discussion now.
Thank you, Jonathan, for inviting me, and I'm always glad to be here with you and your colleagues.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, everyone's excited. You know, we've been looking forward to this. We put the word out to everyone that we wanted to have you involved in this discussion. So you were looking at that video kind of for the first time, Dr.
Yes, yes. But I was aware of the literature that she was quoting from. So, but it was nice to see in a visually all things that are going on. Okay, so you can pretty much tell us then what's going on with the spotlighting here, Jeff. Can we be added to the spotlight here with Dr. Prasad? Or is maybe just the way that I'm looking at it? Sure. So you want to first deal with this issue of COVID brain, right?
Yes, but I wanted to ask you, based on what we just saw in that video, can you say then that what we were listening to was accurate?
Yes, it's totally accurate. And she was presenting data which was 6 months old, but now, even after a year, there was another paper out where the similar finding was there. And interesting thing was, like she mentioned, that even the mild symptoms can induce a abnormality in brain functions like dementia. And it turned out that the people who went to the ICU, they had a much higher rate than 30%. In that scenario, I found a statistic that there was those people who went, some people did not go to ICU, another went to ICU and have ventilation and so on. There, the incident is 46%.
Oh, wow.
Is more than 1/3. And so this is real problem. Is going to not only a individual and family problem, but also societal problem because of the cost involved in managing those kind of things. And dementia is dementia, whether it is like in case of Alzheimer dementia or other forms of dementia, it happens in the later in your life, say after 65 years, the risk increases. But in this case, it is very early events. But the event which causes these things are very similar. And like the neurologist from Stanford said, that it is like similar to the chemo brain. And so you know what happened in what causes the chemo brain. And same thing is that similar cause is here also. So the causative agents are very similar, except the one is case of in a virus-induced changes. In other cases, the chemotherapeutic or radiation-induced changes. But the net effects of changes like increase in inflammation and also whenever there is inflammation, there is loss of oxidative stress that she did not mention. And so these two processes are very much linked. If you have oxidative stress, and the reason you have inflammation marker and they started going and causing in brain as opposed to peripheral system, microglia, like she indicated in the picture, microglia and astrocytes, they are the immune system of the brain. And so when they get activated, because they enter from the bloodstream that was produced by viruses, and they start killing or activating the microglia cells, then there is almost like a cytokine storms in brain. And when that happens, and of course, you have a lot of free radicals produced, a lot of all kind of toxic chemicals are produced during inflammation process. It is not just the pro-inflammatory cytokines, but other kind of toxic materials. And then they will start killing the cell and also interfering with the communication. And so it has a lot of problem. So the question is that everybody wants to know how to, so if this is the case that inflammation and the oxidative stress is causing the dementia or all kind of different kind of brain abnormalities, what can we do to reduce it?
Yes, I 100% agree. But before you go there, Dr. Prasad, just to kind of be clear, a lot of us did not realize that those components made up what you just referred to as the immune system of the brain, and that the brain's immune system can release harmful toxins like that.
Yes, more, yeah. When they get activated, brain immune cells like microglia cells.
So then the toxins of the brain's immune system trying to protect itself, that's what in turn starts to do damage like to the axon and other cells. That's what leads to the fog and the memory loss?
Yeah, I mean, they not only causes damage to the axon, which are responsible for communications, but also directly, it can kill cells.
Oh, wow.
And so it is not that interfering with the communication, that's why you have a disease, but maybe early part is that your nerve cell is not functioning because they are directly also attacking your cholinergic neuron, which is responsible for storing your memory and learning ability and so on. So neuron, eventually it is neuron. So what is the early phase and neuron is not functioning well, then you have a mild form of dementia. When neurons start dying and more neuron died, then you are getting a real, like Alzheimer type of dementia that you can't even recognize your own family member. But in this scenario right now, it is early phase, it is early dementia. And so it is the best time to intervene. The question is how you intervene it. Well, neurologists can recommend some some medications. For example, in a classical medication is that the reason you get a memory loss or poor function because a nerve cell, in this case, neuron is mostly responsible for storing the memory, is that they produce a special kind of neurotransmitter chemicals called acetylcholine. And acetylcholine is the molecule inside neuron which stores memory, just like a computer. It stores memory in an ability to recall it. So if they go down, then your memory has started going down and neuron will die. So they are gone two ways. If neuron is gone, then you don't have acetylcholine. But if neuron is not functioning properly, because two reasons, because the enzymes which degrades acetylcholine have increased.
Yeah.
So you are lesser and lesser acetylcholine is in your brain, in your nerve cell, and therefore you will have more. Or the enzyme which makes acetylcholine, they also is inhibited. So you are getting a double whammy. Your degrading enzyme is increased and synthetic enzyme is decreased. So acetylcholine has started going down. So the classical medication right now, at least we know, I don't know, because nobody has as yet made a clinical study on a COVID-19 induced brain abnormalities or brain dementia.
Really?
But in Alzheimer dementia, they try to increase the level of acetylcholine. And the way they do it, they use what is called a cholinesterase enzyme inhibitor. In other words, enzyme which degrade acetylcholine,
Reduce
they use
that.
inhibitor of that, so acetylcholine remain high. But that treatment doesn't last very long, because for that treatment to be efficient, your nerve cell has to be alive. But inflammation on oxidative stress is causing the death of neuron.
It's killing it.
These drugs do not address. So no matter how you want to increase, you have to protect neurons, to protect the neuron against inflammation and oxidative stress.
So stop the harmful enzyme, protect the neuron, and elevate the positive enzyme.
Right. And so you have to do that. And otherwise, your therapeutic approach to increase the acetylcholine level is not going to work for a long time.
Right.
And indeed, in case of Alzheimer dementia, it lasts for about 3 months. Sometimes, in some cases, can last 1 year, but most of the cases is 3 months.
Right.
And because neurons is dying, and if neuron is dead, your drug cannot work. So the question is how to prevent the death of the neuron, so that whatever the doctor is recommending, their effectiveness might increase markedly.
That's excellent. I saw a study once where they took and administered IV glutathione.
Yes.
In a person who had Parkinson's, and they literally stopped thinking, but it only lasted about an hour or two, and then they went right back. Throughout in very short.
Yeah, because glutathione is a powerful, in your blood or in your cell is present in the highest level than any other antioxidant. And the reason he gave IV, he was given, or she was given, because glutathione, if you take orally, it is destroyed in your intestine.
That's right.
And never goes to the blood, so you won't have any effect. And so it is very important to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, so that any therapeutic approach by drugs that neurologists give would be further enhanced. Because there is, if you can say that like people have used in the treatment, that if you use the hydrocortisone, which is anti-inflammation agent, but it is also have a lot of side effects, so you can't do for a long time.
Right.
You can have acute effect.
That's right.
Like they have used in a treatment of COVID-19 if you have excess of inflammation. But in this case, right now, in a COVID cases, brain damage, COVID-induced brain damage, it is a slow progress. It is slower. And so you don't have to use hydrocortisone, but they can use something other one. And if you want to use it, if it is think it is important, then they will use a short term. But if you use a micronutrient, which can decrease both. See, hydrocortisone can do only inflammation, has nothing to do with oxidative stress.
Right.
So it can help some, but of course it has toxicity. So the best approach would be whatever the neurologists recommend in this scenario would be a medication, which main reason would be because they believe for some reason they believe inflammation and oxidative stress is two distinct processes. This is not the case. The cell damage first has to occur before inflammation comes. But in this case, in a specialized case,
and that's caused by
cell damage.
stress.
Yeah, cell damage was induced by inflammatory molecule that penetrated in your brain. But normally, brain is kind of protected against those kind of events. But so anyway, so micronutrient can be extremely useful, and a micronutrient in a way that can reduce both inflammation and oxidative stress at the same time. And this will help further to improve the effectiveness of any drug that neurologists might recommend. Right now, I'm not sure if they're recommending anything, at least I did not come across. And they're observing it. Yeah. But instead of observing it, it is a harmless drug. It has no toxicity and it would not hurt you. And therefore, it is very important to have an appropriate type of micronutrient. And as soon as you can, start it. Possible. And you can always say if you go and ask a neurologist, that, I want to take this vitamin, you show them, they will say, go ahead, take it, because he doesn't believe it is going to do you any good. Mm-hmm. But it might do any good based on what we know about the mechanism, how micronutrient works, and what is happening in your brain because of the COVID infection or because of the chemo brain. Mechanism is same.
Right.
What is applicable here could be applicable in chemo brain as well.
Well, what you're saying is exactly right. Just today, Dr. Prasad, I met a doctor, general practitioner, and they've been very successful in minimizing the amount of COVID cases they've had because most of their clientele have kind of lived in a bubble. But when I asked him what they were doing as far as treatment is concerned, he said in one case right now they're monitoring one person very closely, and they've got Paxlovid standing by. That's really the only option. They're hoping that the immune system would just kind of take care of it and calm the situation down. So what you're suggesting here with nutrients, I mean, what you wrote about in your book on Huntington's disease and Parkinson's disease, all about micronutrition having a positive impact on the brain.
Right.
So can you tell us a little bit more then specifically about the effect that the micronutrients would have on both reducing the oxidative stress and ameliorating the inflammation and raising the the appropriate enzyme?
Yeah, but it may not have any effects on enzyme, but what it does, by reducing the oxidative asset inflammation, that damaging effect of changing the enzyme and other things is gone.
So 2 out of 3 things it's taken care of.
Mm-hmm. So if you just decrease the inflammation and in oxidative damage or oxidative stress in the brain, then your brain will be protected. So whatever damage has already occurred, it will not go any further. And by restoring, making the healthier neuron, the surviving neuron will now function more efficiently, and your memory will be restored. And overall, you're not only mentally, but physically also, you will feel much better.
You have nothing to lose and potentially everything to gain.
Yeah, everything. That's exactly. And again, it is not interfering with any medications that your doctor might recommend.
Right.
There is another thing that she missed it, that I noticed that there was a report also, a small percentage of people develop Parkinson's disease, not only dementia, but they also develop Parkinson's disease.
Yeah.
And there is also, see that mostly with the dementia issue, but also many people, very high percentage of the people, suffer from a psychosis, psychiatric problem.
Yeah.
They see hallucination, delusional. They have difficulty in sleeping, anxiety disorder. So there is a lot of problem associated with that, in addition to the dementia problem, early phase. So, and it is the best time to intervene. Some people have what is called a MCI, memory impairment. It is a early phase of dementia, very early phase, and if they may or may not develop real dementia, but if you don't take care of them, it might go on full-fledged dementia.
Right.
So many people of COVID survivor have MCI, what is called minimum cognitive function impairment, MCI, minimum. And at that point, you have a sign because you forget sometimes what happened last night, we forget. But this could be a normal part of aging. But in this case, there is no aging involved.
Right.
So if you have MCI, minimum cognitive impairment, that means you are going to go to full-fledged dementia if you don't take care now.
That's right.
And again, they have shown in literature that the Alzheimer literature that oxidative stress and inflammations are involved in initiating these kind of early changes.
Well, what you're saying is revolutionary, Dr. Prasad, because like you're saying, most doctors are not offering any real solutions.
No.
To protect.
Just following the statistics, but the statistics does not help, which is important because that's why we know what percentage is problem and what is happening. These are important diagnoses. These are important findings, and we commend them for that. But then you have to also find out what we can do before it become too severe.
That's right. Well, we're going to just we're going to step away for a second and just show one video where someone who suffered with chemo brain benefited exactly the way that you're describing right now. So, Jeff, let's see that situation, Jeff.
Okay, Jonathan, I'm going to unspotlight both of you, and then it'll be full screen. So here we go. So this happens to be the couple that introduced Helen and I to each other. So really good friends of ours. And Dr. Prasad and several of you may have already seen this video, but it's extremely fitting for right now. So.
Hi, we're Steve and Linda Stay, and our story with Engage started probably 4 years ago when a friend told us about this product, and I looked at it and said, yeah, nothing special here. You know, the cost was, we were used to spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month on supplements, and so I dismissed it. But Linda, even though we spend that money on supplements, Linda was diagnosed with cancer, and breast cancer, and after surgery and extensive chemo treatments, life wasn't going real well for her.
Right. I had survived the cancer, which I kind of wished I hadn't, because now I was dealing with the side effects, and chemo brain is a real thing. If you know people that have gone through chemo, trust me, they're struggling. And what chemo brain does is, number one, you can't really piece thoughts together. You can't function like you used to. I was a very multi-functioning multitasker, and I couldn't do that anymore. Couldn't think, and I had unreasonable anxiety and fear that would just come out of nowhere. And I honestly felt like I can't live this brain. I don't want to be here anymore. And it was hard to, I didn't express that, but Steve picked up on the fact that I was really struggling, and he felt.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd spent literally thousands of dollars a month over the year on supplements, IV nutritional things trying to prevent that. And watching your sweetheart go through that kind of stuff isn't fun. And so I was searching, man, deep in my heart for an answer. And something told me to call my friend Jeff. And I needed to talk to him about what was called MMF then, and microdaily. And I called Jeff and said, I need to talk to you about this. For some reason, I'm feeling that's what Linda needs. And we got together a few weeks later as he made it back into town and
started on the product. And within a week, 10 days, I started to feel a little bit better. And it wasn't too long after that we had the opportunity to meet Dr. Prasad. And I told him what I was struggling with, and he held my hand and promised me that those brain cells could be restored, and that I would get better, and that I would be myself again. And I just started to cry and said, I hope so. I really hope so. And it was at that time that I confided in Steve how desperate I felt. And every week that went by, I felt more of my self coming back. It was like I could feel my brain coming alive again, and I could function again like I used to. I
was back.
I was back, and it's truly been incredible. I'm including energy and aches and pains, and all of that type of stuff.
But your brain was functioning like at the level, that incredible level that it always had.
Yeah.
As a caretaker, that's not an easy position to take either. But I noticed with taking it that my sleep was deeper.
Yeah.
I was sleeping deeper, and I'd had a hand tremor that had been progressing over the years, something that kind of runs in my family. And Linda noticed about 6-7 weeks into using this product that I'm pouring some tea from a bottle into another container. She says, your hand's not shaking. I'm like, wow, it isn't. The other hand tried it.
It was awesome.
And so we've loved it as we understand the science more. One of the best decisions we ever made was to give it a try.
And again, we figure that we replaced about $300 a month
Just multiple
vitamin supplements that we were taking, $300 a month each. So that's a real winner.
Jeff, that's phenomenal.
That's phenomenal. Well, I mean, that's theoretically, that's what you predicted. That's why I predicted it, that this will help, but you never know. I mean, prediction is one thing and reality is another.
Reality is a whole different story. But my question to you, Dr. Prasad, it's kind of a two-part question. What we just saw was connected to MicroDaily, just the micronutrients by itself.
Right.
And that by itself is so touching and can bring a tear to your eyes. I mean, it's choking me up just thinking about someone's life going back to normal. But then you didn't stop there, Dr. Prasad. You have now come up with Brain Boost and Collagen Boost.
Yes.
Can you give us some idea as to how these enhance the brain's function?
Brain Boost is also very important. If she had taken both Brain Boost, because at that time we did not develop that. But had he taken it, probably the effect would have been faster. But in any case, the Brain Boost is important because it has a couple of ingredients that MicroDaily does not have, and then and those are very important, especially for purpose of dementia issue. For example, it has two phosphatidylserine and phosphatidylcholine. These two membranes are very, very important. This is a precursor of membrane. So they have membrane has to make it a new membrane. These are required. And MicroDaily doesn't have that. And so I added these two so that the membrane, as you know, that brain has the highest level of oxidative damage because they produce a lot of free radicals than any part of the body. But at the same time, the membrane is very sensitive to free radicals. So they continuously get damaged and repaired and so on. And so I thought that by providing this, plus other antioxidants which will protect the cell, then new membrane, when they are formed in the nerve cells, they will be much stronger, and any toxin which can penetrate if your membrane is damaged, it will not happen. So that is very important. We also added a two, which MicroDaily doesn't have it, namely the curcumin and resveratrol. Yeah, and these two are very more powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammation both than other forms of vitamin. And in addition to that, the resveratrol also protect mitochondria, which is very important because one of the problems that leads to dementia or any kind of brain disorders is damage to the mitochondria. So not only your antioxidant will protect the mitochondria from oxidative stress, but protected mitochondria can perform better because resveratrol protects one protein called SIRT1. And that protein is extremely important for carrying on the oxidative phosphorylation to generate energy for your body or for your brain. And so these two are very, very important in a brain boost. We also added an additional amount of coenzyme Q10, as you know, is required by the mitochondria to generate energy. And we also produces additional amount of B12, B3, nicotinamide nitrate or something like that, nicotinamide. Yep. And that also, these two are very, very essential to enhance the production of energy by brain more. And so that becomes very important in terms of a dementia.
So you're talking about
brain. Yes, brain boost.
You're talking about being able to feed neurons and stimulate the neurons to grow, giving a nice healthy environment for neurons to grow. That's a big deal, Dr. Prasad.
Yeah, I think, once because people think that there is always precursor, a stem cell of nerve cell as well, they think now. So if the environment is very positive in the brain, and then some of the lost cell, like neuron in terms of a dementia, cholinergic neuron, or dopamine neuron in case of a Parkinson disease, they can be restored.
Right.
Nobody has demonstrated in human as yet, but because the existence of a stem cell, which now has been demonstrated, it is possible that it can happen if you provide a right environment in the brain. And by giving this micronutrient, it is possible to do it. Now, next question is that how the MicroDaily can help brain. I mean, that is a separate topic. How MicroDaily is important for aging.
Tell us, before you go there, Dr. Prasad, tell us a little bit though about this, about the way collagen daily has an impact on the brain, because amyloids, is it true that beta amyloids is what leads to Alzheimer's? And
yeah, I think collagen daily, first you have to know that which before I did extensive research, I was not aware of the importance of collagen in the brain or any place else. Collagen represents 30%, almost one third of the total body protein that you have. Collagen
30%.
30% of that. That means collagen is every place, not just in the skin. It's in heart, it is in kidney, tendon, every place else. In for example, in cartilage, 60% of the cartilage is collagen.
Well, if you have scleroderma, you know that collagen is everywhere because everywhere in the body starts to
That's right, deteriorate. And as skin, you can observe deterioration. In other places, you don't observe it until, you know. So in case of brain, it is like here you can see that in the brain, there is, as you know, that there are 28 different types of collagen,
Right.
28 different types. And so brain has a type called type 6, a very small amount of collagen called type 6 is present in the brain. And they are neuroprotective. They are considered neuroprotective in two ways. First is that it prevents, and they have demonstrated in a cell culture model, that if you have a nerve cell in a Petri dish and put the beta amyloid, and then they die. And that's what happens in vivo. But if you put at the same time collagen peptides, then they live. It is almost the same kind of things that you see with vitamin E or coenzyme Q10. If you have the amyloid, they will kill nerve cell in culture. And so that's one aspect, which is similar, but work by different mechanism. In this case, they bind with the collagen binds with the amyloid protein, so it cannot act. But in case of vitamin E, say for example, or coenzyme Q10, that's the same thing, but it prevents the release or action of free radical, because last step of beta amyloid, why it kills the nerve cell, it produces free radicals. And so vitamin E does in that way. On the other hand, collagen say, no, you will not have a chance to produce free radical. They bind it and make it inactive. You see what I mean? And so another way collagen does it, that suppose you have already some plaque formed there already, say for example, in some small amount, a collagen peptide will clean up because they bind it, they inactivate it, and then some like macrophages or proteasome comes and cleans it up.
That's incredible.
So it was totally unknown, this function of collagen.
Wow.
We knew how antioxidant can help, by preventing the action of free radicals, but here it binds it.
That's amazing, Dr. Prasad. Well, I'm here to tell you personally that I've been using the collagen now. I'm having trouble getting my second dose in every day. So I'm going to make a confession. So I get it in the morning, but I have a problem getting it in later in the day. But I had this persistent problem in the center right side of my back under my shoulder blade. It wasn't a constant pain, but it was only there if I sat down too long, like a muscle issue. It went away the second day that I started using this. I mean, it's completely gone. I can stand up now and do whatever I want, but it went away. So I can only attribute it to this because I'd already been taking a lot of microdaily and everything else. So difference.
Yeah, I think, some of those issues, I have been taking this today. I think today will be my 5th dose of the collagen. And I mean, the only thing I notice is even my wife, every time she sees her hand, about the texture of the skin, and looks like it is improving. It has a little more hydration, And so next time when you see what next month, say for example, if you see me, I might look younger.
Yes. Well, we're happy to know about that. That'll be just wonderful. Anything that will help to preserve that brain of yours, so we have access. We're interested in that.
So I mean, again, it is your natural protein is not going to hurt you, and just like micronutrient, your body has it, and actually in this case, your body has a 30% of everything that you have in terms of protein, and so taking like we have recommended 11 gram, and the scoop is about 22 grams. So you take a half of that. And there are many ways people do it. My wife mixes it in some yogurt.
I like it in yogurt.
I just warm, tiny bit of warming the water, and then
Mhm.
it would dissolve very easily.
Yeah, that's working pretty good.
Yeah,
So-
so for me, it is working very good, but she hates that, so she uses some, yogurt. So she, okay, anyway, you can give to your body is happy. Body is
Whatever it
happy
takes
to
to
get
get in, right?
So
Well,
it's combination of micro daily. And say, I wish I would have started when I was 40.
I know.
But, for me, it is kind of too late, but at least some improvement.
No, I'm sorry, Dr. Prasad, it's never too late. I don't believe that. I'm 100% believer that today is the right time to start on
Right. Anytime anybody can start it.
right now.
And at least, it will help you. It will not hurt you at all.
That's right. Right now is the time to do it. And with our focus being on the brain, this bundle on the right, for anybody who's trying to figure out, what they should do, should they get started on any of these supplements that Dr. Prasad was talking about?
I think, if you can afford it, I would say at least you must have a micro daily plus brain boost.
Right.
2 is a must. If you can afford it, then use the collagen.
And I'm going to say to folks who are listening right now that I don't think you can afford not to add the collagen.
I would prefer it, but I'm saying that many times some people, not all, a few people maybe have some financial issue, maybe 5%, 1%, I don't know. But I'm saying that, if you can have all three, that would be optimal.
That's right.
But if you say, no, I want to maybe just 2 because I don't have enough money. I'm just giving a hypothetical case.
I got you. And I love you, Dr. Prasad, but I'm going to say that the 115 people on this call right now, that for $2 a day, you can't afford not to add that. So I'm saying skip your coffee, skip a burger, take that $2 and put it in this. So the premium bundle, premium bundle is what you want to target for, because that gives you essence of everything that this man, Dr. Prasad, has put together that will benefit the brain. That's the bundle that you want.
Also your own overall well-being,
Overall well-being. But today's discussion was about brain.
Of course,
brain fog. So for that one reason, they need to focus in on that premium bundle. So Dr. Prasad, we have a few minutes. And I'm sure that there may be 1 or 2 people that's itching to ask a question. Should we take a few minutes, maybe try to take 1 or 2 brain questions?
Deborah, somebody raised a hand there.
Hey, but I have the ability to add myself in, and so I'm going to just jump right in here, Dr. Prasad.
Sure.
I got a kick out of Jonathan holding up the bottle of Brain Boost and looking at all the ingredients, and you're just whipping it off. It's just coming right out of your brain. You know what you put in that formula, and there's Jonathan trying to act like he's got it, and he's reading through them. Yep, that's there. That's there.
What's even amazing, Jeff? What's amazing is I can actually see it. That's what's amazing. Okay. Even with reading glasses, I could not see this before. And I know that the top line says niacin. I was able to see it.
That is exciting. So I wanted to jump right in. iBoost. Yeah. And that was, I was going to say, I love that iBoost. It's part of the Dr. Prasad choice, the optimal bundle.
It's also very, very important for your eye.
Yeah, we won't go without it. But so Dr. Prasad, my question goes back to the testimonial video from our friends Steve and Linda. And Linda, did an excellent job talking about her chemo brain and how that's back. But we've had many individuals in Steve's situation where they had started to develop that essential tremor, so. Can you tell me why somebody like Steve would have such a good effect with it? Is it something to do with Parkinson's? And I know you studied a lot with Parkinson's and Huntington's.
Yeah,
but
he was probably the very early phase of Parkinson's disease.
Wow.
And would have been, he may have lost fewer dopamine because loss of dopamine is responsible for that. And by taking this vitamin, he does no further loss of dopamine, and surviving dopamine, which were maybe half dead, half dysfunctional, now become functional because they are protected, they had a time to recover. And so by doing this, you prevented any further deterioration of dopamine cells from your brain, and that's why you tremor.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing. And it just kind of drives home the need that all of us have to go out there and help others, show them that there's something there so that they don't lose any more of those brain cells, so that the ones that have are protected.
My hand at the age of 87 still is very steady.
Listen, this morning I took a picture. I just started my mother-in-law on Collagen Daily about a week ago now. I took a picture and I didn't have time to cue it up. She's doing her own nails. She's 91 years old and she's sitting down doing her own nails, painting her own fingernails. I got a picture of her. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. There was no shaking. There was no nothing, no unsteadiness. This 91-year-old woman was painting her own fingernails.
That's fantastic. Glad to hear it.
With precision. I'm not talking all over the sides, and my sister-in-law had to come and clean it up. She did it herself, and it looked like she went to a manicurist. I'm blown away by it.
Okay.
So,
That sounds great.
Thank you.
So, sorry for just jumping in on there, Jonathan. I know we got a list of them, but
stay right there. And if you see someone whose question needs to come in, let's get it in here.
Yeah.
But someone did ask the question about, does bone broth have collagen in it, and how does it compare? I'm not sure if that's something you want to comment or not. Does bone broth have collagen peptides in it?
How it compares with others?
Yeah, bone broth. How does bone broth collagen peptide compare to your formula?
Yeah, I said bone broth peptides. Peptide is, there are different way of preparing collagen peptides, and but it does not have a inhibitor. If you take just bone broth, it has some collagen, but it doesn't have an inhibitor of collagen. So you take it, and you will have some increase in collagen in your body. But it would not last long because the enzyme which is degrading it is still there. Our product has both collagen peptides as well as the inhibitor of the enzyme which degrades it.
Enzyme inhibitor. Okay, so
inhibitor.
The thing that's causing us to lose collagen has been blocked by this one. So this one is much better than just any old bone broth or anything else by itself. That's very good. That's good.
Yeah, that's the main difference.
So just I'm going to jump in here, Jonathan. You ask about sometimes it's difficult to get that other dose in, and I know on the canister here it says just one. Helen and I are both doing two doses, and so our second dose, the one in the afternoon, is in some bone broth that we have warmed up, and it's really helped with a keto lifestyle. Is just we've got the bone broth and we add this in. It's just a nice little sipper for the afternoon. It kind of keep going through because we're trying to stay on the keto and not do a whole lot of carbs, and so that's really been our answer to it. I had somebody here in the chat, and I'll bring this up. It says, please ask if it's possible to regrow cartilage with the Micro Daily nutrition. So can cartilage be regrown, or what about the hyaluronic acid lubricating it? And I know we've noticed a big difference when we're out riding our bikes or on our one wheels. In just this last week, we've noticed it's easier. It's just we kind of glide, and I don't know how to describe it other than just it seems easier to move.
Wow.
Yeah, it is lubricating agent in a way, hyaluronic acid, but the main questions you are that just the cartilage. Cartilage, as I said, 60% of the cartilage. Wasn't the question was cartilage?
Yeah, regrow cartilage.
Regrow.
I think 60% of the cartilage is collagen. So if you replace them slowly and slowly, they will increase the cartilage capacity to function properly. But it might take longer time because if you have lost a lot of cartilage, then it will care. So it is. It may not be totally original, but it can improve dramatically because of the that you are giving them additional collagen. So not only you are preventing any new cartilage that are formed from degrading it, and so the collagen will stay there and your cartilage will become stronger.
That's a
I
good
agree.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've just getting the micro daily, and all we've had for years is just the micro daily,
Yeah.
and we reduce the oxidation and the inflammation, give the body a fighting chance. And I've actually seen people, their X-rays have improved from just the micro
That's
daily,
micro-daily.
and now that we've got this, it's like
It is phenomenal.
yeah.
That's incredible.
And as I told you that I'm almost finished the book on dementia, where they have discussed the issue of collagen as well, how important it is, and not only for brain, but as an anti-aging agent. A combination of a micro daily and collagen.
Anti-aging.
The best anti-aging agents. That's what I have told in my book.
Does everybody hear that? Listen carefully. Everybody just write that one down. This combination, micro daily, along with the collagen, that's anti-aging, the best anti-aging.
Best anti-aging in the marketplace or any place, you know.
All right, folks. So Jeff, Daphne Miller's been practically dancing and waving her arms to get a question in. Mind you, and I put Daphne Miller on here because I remember the first meeting she came to, she says, I didn't believe any of this stuff. And the only reason why she took microdaily is because Dolores made it show up at her house. And she said, well, let me just try these green pills. So anyway, go ahead, Daphne. I know you got it.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly the only reason I took it.
I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell a story because I just have to put you out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a comment because when we saw the video with the lady with chemo brain, it resonated with me, and I just went to the oncologist Friday. I'm a little perturbed with them right now, but I was telling her that I've been doing alternative medicine. And I know for a fact that the micro daily helped me to walk because I wasn't walking. Balance was off, very much off. And that was from the beginning when I first started, but I kind of tapered off a little bit, but I don't get back on it really heavy again. And you really see the difference. But I just had to add that chemo brain is really real. Not only the chemo brain, but I was hallucinating. And I didn't know why, but I just started doubling up on the thing. For me though, it makes a difference for me which micro daily you take. I don't try them all, but the green bottle for me helped with my hallucination.
Wow.
For me, because I tried the purple bottle, I tried I just started with the red bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And the brain boost. But the green bottle for me is what helped me. I'm just letting people know. And it was a difference. It was a difference for me. It must have been what my body needed.
Right.
Because my body got it quickly as soon as I started taking it. I also have tremors, bad tremors. And I'm doing really good. I feel younger. I feel younger, my body feeling better. But I've been going the natural route. I go to the chiropractor every week now. But that micro daily has really helped me with that chemo brain. And I just had to tell people that because that chemo brain is real. And when you said it brought a tear to your eye, I was tearing.
Yeah.
And the reason why I want to tell people that, because sometimes you do doubt, because I did doubt. And I did say I was not taking those green pills. I mean, people send you stuff all the time, and you just don't know what to believe. But the only conclusion I came to, that it really helped, it helped me. Now, I don't got off it and got back on it, so I know it's the micro daily.
Very good. Very good.
I'm looking forward to doing the collagen.
Add that collagen to the mix, Daphne, and we're going to see you moonwalking. So we're looking forward.
Let me ask you this. Does the collagen help with
brain boost? Does it take brain boost?
Oh, I just started taking the brain boost. Yes, I wasn't, even though I receive it on subscription.
Okay.
I receive a lot of stuff on subscription.
Yeah.
I don't start taking my brain boost and my eye boost.
Excellent.
And I take my glasses off now. I didn't believe that stuff when y'all be saying it, but you have to take it to believe it. I'm a show me person. You have to really take it, and then you'll start believing it.
He speaks her mind, as you can see.
Thank you. I also
but I want to know one thing. That collagen, will it help with
there's no receptor
with your hair? With the
hair growth?
Yes.
I don't know. Nobody has done it, any experiment. And,
not in 1 week.
So at least it will not cause to lose it. So I don't know. I can't answer. But I also, Jonathan, I want to emphasize that in addition to what we are talking about, it is very important to have a good lifestyle, don't smoke, reduce your stress in daily life, have a good diet, and a balanced diet, and don't take too much caffeine. This is very important because too much caffeine interfere with the repair of DNA.
Yeah.
And so if your micronutrient is helping in DNA repair system, and you are taking too much coffee, say 4 or 5 cups a day, many people do. When I was at the university and I didn't know anything about it, I used to, when I'm writing my grant, I used to drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee. Became habit.
Yep.
But now I take only 1 cup in the morning, and that's it. Actually, 1 cup I share with my wife, so it is only half cup.
Half a cup. I'm down to about 1 cup a month now. I do green tea most of the time now, so see about the anti-aging thing. But thank you, Dr. Prasad, and thank you, Daphne, for your comments and for your question. Let's see if we can sneak a couple more in here before we wrap the call up here.
Venice?
There's a couple more questions. Alfreda answered one already, which is good. So let's go to Dolores. Dolores was the next one that had her hand up. Go ahead, Dolores.
Okay, thank you. I'm really asking a question for a person that tried to get on and they're looking at it on YouTube, and this is what she wants to know. I know the answer, but I want Dr. Prasad to give her the answer. Could you open the brain boost capsules up and mix them for someone that can't swallow pills anymore?
Yeah, I think, I actually myself take not only brain boost, but all the micro daily EMF. I open the content, it's very easy to open it and dump it in a yogurt. Yeah, and dump in a yogurt, all this together, and then put some yogurt on the top of that and mix it up and eat it. That's
okay.
Very good.
That's the best way to do it.
Thank you. All right, very good.
Jeff, you want to pick another one?
Let's just go down the list there. Next one would be Venice. If they wanted to turn their camera on, we could pull them onto the screen here with us. Venice.
Hi. Do I have to turn the camera on?
Not a requirement. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to say, Dr. Prasad, you've spoken very eloquently and have been very informative. Based on that alone, I would buy everything.
Thank you.
I wanted to find out, and I think you kind of answered my question, for someone who is not experiencing any of these chemo brain or other illnesses, is it all safe to take?
Yes,
Okay.
totally safe. and depending, I don't know how old are you, but in any age.
I'm 64.
Yeah, so I think in that scenario, I will just say that take these things, all brain boost, micro daily EMF, and collagen. And if you have some eye issue, then you take also eye boost.
Okay, I came on just a little bit late. All the products are natural. Is that correct?
Yes, they're all derived from nature. There is no, one thing is a synthetic one is N-acetylcysteine. And it is very important to have N-acetylcysteine because you want to elevate the glutathione level in your body to a maximal level, because this is the most important antioxidant in your body. So on one hand, we increase the increase the glutathione by giving alpha lipoic acid, which our body makes it, and it is natural from natural form. And because alpha lipoic acid increases the enzyme which makes the glutathione, so glutathione goes up. But that may not be sufficient. What N-acetylcysteine does, which is synthetic one, first it is absorbed very quickly, and then N-acetylcysteine is chopped off in your blood, and then cysteine must be used to make glutathione. If you have a less cysteine, you can make, even though your enzyme is high, synthetic enzyme which makes glutathione is very high, but if you don't have enough cysteine, you can't make glutathione. So by giving this synthetic one, as well as alpha lipoic acid, which is a natural, your body makes it, you increase the glutathione level in your body maximally, and N-acetylcysteine has no toxicity.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you so very much.
Sure, Venice.
Very good. Thank you for your question, Venice.
You're welcome.
You got time for maybe one more here, Dr. Prasad? We're past 6 o'clock, so do you have time for one more?
I think I can answer a few more questions.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Today is Sunday, so I'm open.
All right, let's Lady V. You're next on the list that I see here. So are you at a point where you could turn your camera on, or you want to just talk to Dr. Prasad directly? Go ahead.
I don't think y'all want to see me, Jeff. Thank you. But thank you, Dr. Prasad, for all you do. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jonathan. This question is not from me. It's actually from a very good friend of mine that is interested in taking the product, but she is a cancer survivor, and she really is concerned about the risk of possibly taking the product. I think I know the answer, but she won't accept it from me. She wants to hear from Dr. Prasad. She wants to know if there's any risk of her taking the product, that her reoccurring cancer, her cancer reoccurring.
No, if anything, if she's a cancer survivor, first, this will reduce any potential side effect. As you know, many cancer survivors, when they use the chemotherapy radiation, long-term effect is they might have a new cancer induced by these are all cancer-causing agents, and they also, if you don't have that cancer, then they use sometime depending upon the area, induce the wounds later on, which is difficult to heal. So this kind of side effect, if we don't do anything, and all these side effects are related to increased oxidative stress and inflammation. And so if you reduce them, your chances of side effects of therapy is markedly reduced, and you could have a good quality life for a long time.
Awesome, awesome. I knew the answer. I just she got to hear from you, Dr. Prasad.
Sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Very good. Thank you for your question, Lady V. Deborah.
Deborah, go ahead and unmute yourself. You're up. You'll need to touch this. There you go.
I did? Oh my gosh, I've been waiting to talk to you guys. Listen, I tuned in very late. Is there any possibility that I can look at this whole video again?
Yes.
Tell me where I can get it from, please, and thank you.
Get back with the person who invited you, and they can share the link with you.
Oh, okay.
It's being recorded right now, but you get back with the person who shared who shared this link with you, invited you, and they'll share the link with you.
Listen, I have a packet of MicroDaily. I've never used it. I've had it for about 6 years. Brand new, still not open. I can actually show you it. It came in. Oh, geez. I've never used it because I bought it. Can you see it?
No, your camera's still off right now.
Oh, I thought I put it on. Hold on. Start my video. Okay. I am not very good with these things. There, see?
Yes, yes, yes.
And I have never used it. So I don't know if it's still good. There's no expiry date on it. I've had it for about 6-7 years.
No, I think if you have kept at room temperature,
yes,
then it still will be stable.
Really? For that long?
Yeah.
I'm afraid to drink it.
We have tested after 5 years, and everything was intact.
Okay.
Same.
But it's like 6 years or maybe 6-7 years.
Because in a room temperature, in a solid form, everybody is, and your bottle is, so it is not exposed to light, and even it is stable.
Okay, so there's a lot of issues with me, so that's why I had gotten it, but I'm on a lot of medication. I'm for fibromyalgia, for arthritis. I replaced my knee. I got to do the other one, and there's arthritis throughout my body. My hand can't even go behind my back anymore, all kinds of stuff. But my cousin actually uses it, and she's the one I bought it off of, and she's telling me you should use it, but I wanted to tune into this program, but I was out, so I didn't catch you until maybe half an hour ago. So I didn't get any information, but I need to talk to the person who linked me up, and I'll be able to see the recording you say.
Yes. Yes. Is your last name McFadden?
Yes.
I can send you the link. I know I can send you the direct link to it. Okay. So
okay, perfect. You're going to send it on here because I'm not very good at this. I'm like 63.
No problem. I'll make sure you get it. Don't worry. Thank you very much for your question, Deborah. So glad you came in and asked your question, but you heard Dr. Prasad say it. It's stable.
I'm glad you answered me.
Yep. It's stable. It is stable for years. So
okay. So I can start taking it tomorrow then, and I take it once a day, right, or twice a day?
Twice a day.
Tonight.
Okay.
Start taking it tonight. Don't wait till tomorrow.
Yeah. Start tonight.
Right now. Right now. Which package do you have? The green? Do you have a green package or the yellow?
It's a yellow bag.
Hydro.
Yeah, put that in a bottle of water. Drink it.
You know what? You know what? You held that up there, and it's autographed by Dr. Prasad. It's one of the foil ones that was autographed by Dr. Prasad. That's a collector's item. That's a collector's item right now. I mean, you could sell that for money
on eBay.
That's got Dr. Prasad's signature on it.
Save that foil.
I was not even aware of that.
Yep, save that package. It's a good thing you showed it on the camera. So that's how good it is. It's got his signature right on it.
There are very few.
When I continue to get my other supplies, I'll even show everybody I have the original signature on not the bottle, the bag.
Yep.
Very good, very good. Well, thank you, Deborah.
No, thank you too. I'll listen to people's questions because, like I said, I'm on a lot of medications, which I'd like to get off of. I'm on thyroid medication. I'm on bladder medication. I'm on fibromyalgia medication. I'm on arthritis medication. I'm on sleep medication. I'm on tremor. So it goes on.
To start taking the MicroDaily and then come back on and tell us how many of those that you're no longer on, because it's going to help. Just stop it. So the other thing is, don't be afraid to take this with all of the medications, because that's one of the things that Dr. Prasad had to guarantee with the military, with this original military package. It had to go through. It had to go through the certification process so that it wouldn't interact with any other prescription medications.
So take it along with my medication.
That's correct. And your doctor will eventually take you off those medications. The doctor will start taking you off them.
Okay, 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 great.
Very
Okay.
good.
So when you send the link, I'll look at the whole program.
I will make sure you get that within the hour, okay?
Yeah, to make myself aware and
Yep.
knowledgeable. All
I'll
right.
make,
Thank
I'll make
you
sure you get it
so
within
much.
the hour. Thank you, Deborah.
All right. Bye. Take care. I'll still listen, but give
All right.
somebody else a chance now. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yes, go ahead.
Jonathan,
Alfreda.
I just wanted to comment on one of the comments on the chat from, let's see, Derek Ernest Fleming.
Yeah.
He says he's been on the EMF for 3 weeks and his blood pressure went from 160 over 100 to 127 over 80. So he's a customer for life. And then there's a question. It says my lab exam shows very high B12 and was advised to stop taking B12. So with the B12 in our products, what, how would a person, is that going to help that situation or?
I think B12 is such a small amount in our product that I don't think it will make any difference. And B12 actually high amount is good. So I don't know why, if your doctor was concerned or you are concerned about B12 being higher.
There's no real danger in taking levels. Go ahead.
The doctor told you not to take B12 or what?
Yes,
what
yes,
was the issue?
it was very higher than normal. And I've had several lab exams. I had about 3 exams, and each time they said it's very high. I don't know why. So they asked me to stop B12 as much as I can. And so I have your products, but because of that, I had to kind of take a break. I don't know what effect it's going to have on B12.
I would consult another. How many times you have got this test done? Only once? Or?
I have 3 different lab tests, and each time my B12 is very high.
Okay. And your doctor said don't take B12, right?
Stay away from anything that has B12.
I would consult another doctor because I'm not aware of any toxicity, but I will look into it.
Yeah, but
is there any toxicity involved if you have B12? And why B12 should go up, I have no idea.
May I speak?
Your name, please?
My name is Dr. Towler.
Go ahead, Dr. Tyler.
Okay. That's happened in several family members of mine, including myself. And Dr. Prasad, I think I've emailed you about that.
Okay, I see. So I would say that let me look into these issues since you look like you have a familial issue, genetic issue. And then I will get back to Jonathan next time when I see you. And
may I speak?
What can be done?
Hello, may I speak?
Very good.
And the folate level also. The folate has been high.
Yeah, folate is that we have taken care of because we are using not a folic acid, but we are using our folate. We are using a methylated form of folate, which is the type your body uses it. So now if you have a mutation on the familial mutation in one gene called MTHFR, and they cannot convert folate or folic acid into a methylated form, and then you can have increased risk of heart disease and so on. So if you have a high level of folic acid, that means you have a mutation of the MTHFR, which cannot convert folic acid to the good form of a folate, which is body uses it. And in that scenario, we have a program that bypass that events. But
the high folic acid was only after taking the micro daily. But I have noticed there are differences.
But I mean,
amounts.
Are you taking micro daily old one or new one?
Both, and we switched from the green one to the EMF one, and in that one the B12 levels are higher, but so is the B12 in the product.
Okay, so I have to check it because it looks like since your relatives have it, you have a familiar issue. So maybe there is some mutation that they can convert B12, but I have to look into. I don't know about it.
Okay. And I was also
Next time I will
wondering
let
if
you know.
I was also wondering if an elevated B12 can lead to more anxiety.
B12, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. But again, as I said that I will just check into this thing, see what it does to your body if you have a high level.
Right. Okay. I was emailing you anyway.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, may I speak? I take B12 and my B12 is high and my doctors told me don't worry about it because it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I also researched it.
So B12.
Yeah, that would be my prediction. But as I said, that I have to look more, a little bit deeper into it and see, because I never heard anything vitamin B12 doing
That's
it.
interesting.
So,
Because
Thank you, Andrew.
my primary and my hematologist told me the same thing.
Very good. So that's one client there, Dr. Prasad, that her doctor, two doctors said to her that the B12 is not an issue.
Actually 3, because I got a third opinion from another hematologist.
Okay.
Well,
Well, Dr.
so
Prasad's going to do
just
research on it.
relax. Don't get anxious, and let's wait till I do some more research on that.
Very good. Excellent. Good questions. Thank you very much. That was Fine and Dr. Carolyn that commented on that. And Andrea, thank you for your input. Okay.
You're welcome.
Stephanie Thornton, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I have 2 questions and I'll be very quick. First of all, for myself, I want to know, is there anything that Dr. Prasad can recommend for me now that my body is building up a lot of excessive amount of gas and in my area right here, I have like pain. First it started on this side. It was just like a nagging pain or like as if I had bruised myself, and now it has moved over to this side over here. I'm presently taking the Michael Daily. I have purchased the eye care and the brain care. But is there anything that he could recommend for me for this area? It just builds up gas. I can just feel gas all over my body, and I try to stay away from food that I know that would give me gas. That's one question there for me.
Only thing I can suggest is, because I don't know, you have to maybe consult your doctor, that you take some probiotics.
Yes, sir, I am.
Are you taking it?
Yes, sir. I brought some from the health food store.
But you have not started it?
Yes, I have.
How long?
About a week now.
Okay. One compound you like to see it if you have that, and if not, then you can go and buy on Amazon.com or health food store. It's called Bacillus coagulant. Bacillus, Jeff, you can spell it Bacillus, Bacillus, Bacillus coagulans, Galans, coagulants, Bacillus coagulans. This is a form, because most of the things that we have in probiotics, when you take it in acid pH, most of them get destroyed. But this coagulant has been known clinically. This causes doesn't get destroyed in acid pH, and therefore it calms down your stomach and did his job, what he's supposed to do it. And so I would say that you look your formula, and if they don't have a coagulant, Bacillus coagulant, then you go and just buy the Bacillus coagulant as a separate one, and you take also together with what you are taking.
Okay, I want to repeat that. You say Bacillus coagulant?
Bacillus, Bacillus, Bacillus coagulant, Coagulans.
Can you access the chat?
I'm sorry, can you spell that again?
Can you access the chat?
Yeah.
I don't know whether this will help, but it is best to consult the doctor if you have that kind of issue. But I'm talking in order to improve the gut health. This is one of the strategy.
Very good. And Stephanie, you might want to make sure you eat more fermented foods. Okay.
Fruit. Yeah, I'm eating more fruit.
No more question.
Eat more fermented foods. Fermented
foods.
Okay?
You say fermented fruits.
Yeah, fermented. Things like sauerkrauts and things like that, okay? More fermented foods.
Okay.
You could be dealing with SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overload.
I think it feels like it's something in my intestines. Now, next question is my patient.
Yes.
Got you, sir. We'll nail down to just two. Go ahead. Your last one more question here, Stephanie.
Yeah, I have a patient who she's 84 years old and she has Parkinson's. And then what made me prompt me to ask Dr. Prasad this question is because his collagen new product that I'm going to buy for myself, it says something about wound care. She has a wound in her backside about that big around. She doesn't even have a tailbone anymore.
Wow.
So would his new product, the collagen, help her?
Again, we don't know because these are unique circumstances, and at least it will not hurt it. So that's all I can say. These are complicated issues. Doctor can advise you the best, but from nutritional point of view and collagen benefit point of view, you can try for a month or two and see how it helps.
Okay, I'll recommend it to her daughter.
Yeah.
Thank you both. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, Jonathan.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Okay, we're down to, we have to apologize. We're just going so far over time right now. So we can only take one more question. So Victoria, you the last question on this. Victoria Larkin. Did we lose Victoria? Looks like we may have lost Victoria.
Let's just cut it off here. It's we're an hour and a half, and we need to respect Dr. Prasad's Sunday. So
listen, folks, thank you all very much for joining us. And listen, Dr. Prasad,
thank you.
We can't thank you enough for the vast reservoir of knowledge that you offer and that you bring to the table. So really, truly do appreciate that. And we share this information with as many people as we possibly can. We're going to pass it on to others. The recording is made available publicly to anyone who wants access to it. So we're going to make sure that other people get to hear this as well. And we will be talking about it for the next weeks. So anyone who would like to hear this presentation again, Tuesday night, this coming Tuesday night, we're going to be doing a recording of this, but abbreviated, condensed version of it this Tuesday night. So come back here this Tuesday evening at 7:30. All right, and invite anyone else that you know that could have benefited from this discussion. So it'll be this Tuesday night, same link, same password, same everything, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to do a replay of this and answer more questions. Dr. Prasad will probably not be there, but we'll be able to, Jeff and I will be there to be able to answer some more of your questions, okay? So for the record again, this information is presented for information and educational purposes only, with some entertainment, value added into it. So Dr. Prasad is not a medical doctor. What we say to you are just suggestions. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. Don't do anything we say just because we say do it. I can't speak for Dr. Prasad on that. Don't do what I say, but whatever Dr. Prasad tells you, you do what he says. And that's a fine thing. But we strongly recommend that you speak to your doctor before making any decision about what to do with regard to your health. And keep in mind, only the government can declare something to be a treatment or cure for any disease. So we're not claiming that any of these products are treatments or cures for any disease state. They're just nutritional supplements that help your body do what it's designed to do. So once again, you guys can unmute if you'd like to and express your thanks to Dr. Prasad.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Dr.
Prasad.
Thank you, Dr.
Jonathan.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all for your support.
Enjoyed all the comments.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Collagen.
Thank you, family. See you later.
Fantastic. Thank you. Learn. Thank you.
Wow.
Miss Arlene.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
get
Thank you, Jeff and Jonathan, Dr. Prasad.
You're quite welcome. Thank you guys for your support. Let's help some more people.
Blessings.
We will.
Make this family bigger, our Micro Daily family.
That's right.
Guys,
Go swimming.
Keep growing.
I'm happy we peaked out at about, 115 or so, but boy, I was looking for 300 today. I'm not disappointed now.
Getting there.
Progression.
That's
You
right.
had
Bring it. Bring folks.
You had some on YouTube, so.
Oh, and a bunch on YouTube. Okay, so we'll see what the head count was there. So we could have been about 150 or so.
Rain.
All right, very good. So Dolores, Alfreda, and a few others. Jeff, I'm going to be giving you a call in a couple minutes.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Y'all take good care. See you next
Thanks.
Tuesday night. Bring your guests.
Links.
Good.